Hey guys, what's up? Vance here, back at you with another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to pick a server in World of Warcraft. Creating a new 4-part series that's going to be directed at new players who either haven't played World of Warcraft before, or at people who are coming back and haven't had a chance to figure out what differences are in the game. This first video is going to be primarily about how to pick your server, how to determine what a good server is, what the different types of servers are, and what you can do to make sure you set yourself up for success. The second part video is going to be kind of about character creation, just talking about, Horde and Alliance, the different races, the different classes, that kind of thing. The third video, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Exiles Reach, the new level 1 to 10 experience for new players, and then go into a little bit about what happens after Exiles Reach, what happens when you're level 10, you get dumped into Orgrimmar or Stormwind for the first time. And lastly, the last video is going to be kind of talking about what happens when you get to that end game, to that level 60 in the Shadowlands. What do you got to look for? What do you got to do? Before we jump into the video, guys, just a quick reminder that I do stream my guild's raids every Tuesday and Thursday over on Twitch TV, link down in the description below. Come check me out there if you have questions about the videos and such. I do stream occasionally on the weekends as well if I have time. So definitely feel free to pop in there and come say hi, ask me questions. I'm happy to help. All right, so let's jump in. So what exactly is a server? So when you first log into the game for the first time, you're going to get jumped right into the character creation screen. This can be kind of a trap. What you need to do is you need to back out here. And then you're going to see you're on your main screen. This is your character selection screen. Up in this top right corner, you can see what server you're actually connected to. Right now, it's got me on Asgalore. You want to change your server, especially if you have like friends and family that play the game and you want to play the game with them. You're going to want to go to this Change Realm button. Servers are called realms in World of Warcraft. Now here on this realm selection screen, you can actually see there are a whole bunch that are listed as new players. You would think that this would be the place to start, right? No. These servers are listed as new players because they are trying to attract more players to those servers. Typically, when a new player starts, the game will assign a server for them. In my case, it assigned me Asgalore on this new account. And if I didn't know any better, I would log in, I would create my character, and I would be off to the races. Now, especially if you have friends that play the game, you're going to want to find out what server they play on, and then you're going to want to join them. Something that can trip some people up here, there are different servers for the US and the EU, so make sure that if you're playing with friends from the United Kingdom, from Germany, that you're joining up with their servers. You're going to want to create an account in the European, the EU servers. Conversely, if you're playing from the EU and you want to play with your friends here in the States, you're going to want to make sure that you create your account for the North American servers. The other thing to note is that there are a couple of breakdowns here. Down along the bottom, you can see these are the United States servers. There are Oceanic servers, so this primarily covers for people in like New Zealand and Australia. Down here you can see there's also the Latin American servers, as well as the Brazilian servers. So if you're playing in those regions, definitely make sure that you pick a server that's in that region, because you're going to get much better connectivity to those servers. They're going to be more localized, and so you're going to get better connections to your server. Back here on the list of the United States servers, you can see there are a whole bunch, and a lot of them are listed as low population. Now, we will go over kind of what this looks like or what this means in a moment. Like I said, if you have friends that are playing the game, find out what server they're on and join them. So the best way you're going to want to find the server that your friends play on is you're going to want to sort by the alphabetical name rather than by population. So right now you can see with it sorted by name, you just click on this realm name button here that lights up. That's going to sort it by name. You can see there's a whole bunch of the ones that start with A and then B, etc. Now, for example, when I started playing World of Warcraft, I had a friend who was in the beta, and he said, oh yeah, I'm going to be playing on the server called Dragonblight. So I created my first character there on Dragonblight, and that's where I played for many years. Over time, we've migrated to different servers, and the reason that you might want to change the server that you play on, it could be that no more of your friends are playing on that server and you want to go play with some new friends. It could be that your server is a very low population, something like Altar of Storms here you can see is listed as a low population server, and you want to go find some new guilds to play with. Or you might want to play on a server that just has a ton of people and has that really lively feel to it. Let's go over what these are. Obviously, your realm name here on the left is the name of the server. This type here in the middle. Now you're going to see two different types here. You're going to see normal and you're going to see RP. Normal means if you just want to play the game and you're not interested in like role playing as your character, creating like a backstory and pretending to be in character, you're going to want to pick normal. Roleplay, those servers are primarily designed for people who are interested in role playing as their character while they're playing the game. Think like playing Dungeons and Dragons as your character while you're playing World of Warcraft. Now, for reference, I actually play on a role-playing server, and I don't partake in roleplay. Now, one of the things that you need to know about a role-playing server is that you just need to act appropriate when you're on one of these servers. You're sure to hear stories about role-playing servers and how all the players are bad or all the players are weird. I mean, that can be true, but that's not the case for most role-playing servers. The reason that I play on a role-playing server is because I really wanted that feeling that the server was alive and that there were actual players in the world. Walking around major cities and seeing people talking as if they are their character really makes the game feel a whole different type of game. Additionally, something else you might be interested in, if you're looking to go for really high-end content, you really want to push like mythic dungeons, mythic raids, mythic plus dungeons, you're going to want to find a server that has a really high population and has really good players on it. Now, the best way to do that is to go to this website here, wowrealmpopulation.com. You're going to want to find your region up at the top, and then you're going to want to find the faction that you're going to play on. So, for example, if you're going to play Horde on the USA servers, you can click on this little link here, and you can see these are the ones with the most active Horde characters. So you can see Thrall has almost 73,000 players on the Horde, where it only has about 2,600 Alliance. Something you might be interested in if you are really into the idea of, player versus player, and especially in the world, you might want to try to find a server that's well balanced. Something like this Quel'Thalas server, where it's 37,000 for both factions. What this means is that when you get into the game, you can activate this thing called War Mode. And what this lets you do is this lets you fight against the opposite faction. So if you're Horde and you see an alliance while you're out in the world, you can actually attack that player and you can fight. Now you can see here on this list, I actually play on this Wyrmrest Accord here. This is a role-playing server based in Los Angeles. It's got about 34,000 Horde characters, and I find that there are a lot of really active and fun players on this server. But if you're looking for something that is the top end for progression, let's say you really want to push for the hardest content in the game, another way to do this is to go to a website called WoW Progress. Now, when you go to wowprogress.com, you can actually go over here to Realms and pick your, if you want to play on the US servers, EU servers, etc. If you click on US, you can see these are all of the best realms in World of Warcraft for player versus environment or PvE. It'll also give you some information about what type of server it is. This is actually irrelevant information now. Servers are no longer listed as PvE or PvP. With the introduction of War Mode in Battle for Azeroth, they actually got rid of the distinction of PvE versus PvP. And now it's just normal or roleplay. The other important thing to check here is you can see what language it is. So you can see Area 52 is an English-speaking server. Barthalos is an English-speaking server in the Oceanic realm. You can also see the population of that server, so active players. You can see Area 52 has 24,000. It's got almost all Horde and almost no Alliance. So if you're wanting to play Alliance, I would recommend not playing on Area 52. You might want to look at something more like Frostmourne here or Proudmoore. And then you can see the time zone. So if you know what your UTC off balance is, you can actually use this as a good way to get an idea of what realm time zone it is. For example, my server is in Los Angeles, which means it's Pacific time, which is -700. If you don't know what different time zones are, you can figure this out that the East Coast time zone is going to be -400, and the West Coast time zone is going to be -700, and then you can kind of figure it out from in between there. So, Central, you're going to be -5, and Mountain time, you're going to be -6. Typically recommend trying to play on a server that's close, if not directly matches your time zone. We have some players on our server that play from East Coast, and with us being -700, if our raids start at 5:30 Pacific or server time, then they're starting raid at 8:30 at night, which can be a little bit late for some people. So with all of this knowledge, and I'm sure this is very confusing, how do you actually pick a server? First things first, like I said, find out if you have friends that play the game, what server they play on. It's always best to play World of Warcraft with your friends. Next up, decide if you want to play on a normal or a role-playing server. For me, I like playing on role-playing servers. I think it adds a fun and colorful life to the game that isn't normally there. However, if you're more interested in just killing bosses, looting dungeons, and that kind of thing, and don't really care too much about seeing other players interacting in that way, feel free to pick a normal server. Lastly, figure out what you'd like to do in the game. There are some servers that are dedicated almost entirely to player versus player. Servers like Tichondrius have a good mix of PvP and PvE players, so if you're really interested in doing both, that might be a good place for you. Instead, if you're really interested in just doing like the hardest, mythic content, servers like Area 52 and Frostmourne, Illidan, Proudmoore, and Thrall, those are all fantastic servers to play on. Second thing is definitely to make sure that you have the correct region. So if you're going to be playing from an oceanic realm, you're going to want to make sure that you live in Australia, New Zealand, that area. If you're playing from Latin America, make sure you pick a Latin American server. That will definitely give you better ping time to your server. You're going to notice an overall better experience by playing on a server that's closer to you. And then lastly, it's to figure out whether you want a high population server or a medium population server. I would recommend staying away from low population servers. Low population servers have been getting merged with other servers, and it can kind of kill the server community that you feel. So typically I recommend you either stay on a high or a medium population server. Alright, so here I am. I'm a new player. I've been told some of my friends are playing on this Wyrmrest Accord server, so I'm going to go check it out over there. You just go ahead and click here, click OK. You might get a little warning if that's a full server. Full doesn't necessarily mean that you are not going to be able to log in. It does mean that there is a chance that when there are a ton of people logging in all at once, there could be a queue. Just keep that in mind. But if you really want to play with your friends, I really do recommend you pick their server. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes here. It's going to log me in, and we're going to get to the character selection screen. Alright guys, so with that said, I think this is a good place to stop this first video. Like I said, there's at least 2, maybe 3 more videos in this series on the new player experience in World of Warcraft. Hopefully you guys found this video informative. If you did, definitely hit the like, get subscribed, catch out the next video when that comes out later this week, hopefully. And I'll see you guys in the next one.